It all kicked off with her yelling at the cop, fingers shaking, voice breaking, eyes wild like she'd just seen a crime go down. "You better arrest that cow before it kills my schnauzer," she screamed. The suspect? Daisy, my 1,200-pound cow, munching hay with a look of pure confusion I'd never seen on a farm animal before. That's when I knew this wasn't going to be a typical Sunday. It started innocently enough. I was planting peppers in my backyard, soaking up the morning sun with a steaming mug of coffee. My hobby farm was always the odd one out in the neighborhood: 2 goats, 3 cows, a slightly unhinged chicken named Henrietta, and a wobbly fence that kept me just out of reach of the HOA's manicured claws. My property teetered on the edge of their turf, meaning they couldn't boss me around. But Linda, the HOA president and devout Schnauzer fan, lived 2 houses down and acted like my land was a personal insult to her family tree. She came storming down the sidewalk with Princess, her tiny Schnauzer decked out in a purple bow and matching booties. That dog had more bling than I did. Princess was barking like her life depended on it, lunging at the fence while my cows grazed peacefully. Daisy, the most laid-back cow you'll ever meet, let out one moo, just a soft, casual moo like she'd spotted a ladybug. To Linda it was a battle cry. She clutched her chest like she'd been stabbed. That cow just mooed at Princess. Aggressively, she shrieked, while Princess tried to claw through the fence like a furry rocket. I laughed. Big mistake. Her eyes locked onto me like a hawk. "You think this is funny?" she snapped, charging toward my gate, phone already out. "This is assault. I'm calling 911. I thought she was joking, tried to lighten the mood with, "Should I read Daisy her Miranda rights?" But Linda was already dialing, pacing like she was commanding a SWAT team. "Yes, operator, I need police now. There's a cow threatening my dog. It's mooing, aggressively mooing." 10 minutes later, 2 cop cars rolled up. I greeted them, still in muddy sneakers, holding a garden trowel. One officer was young, probably fresh out of training, looking like he expected a hidden camera. The other was older, the kind who'd seen real crime and was questioning every choice that landed him here. Linda met them on the sidewalk, pointing at Daisy, who was now sprawled out, chewing cud with a dandelion stuck to her ear. "That's her. That cow mooed at Princess, and she's been shaking ever since," she cried, hoisting Princess like a trophy. Princess wasn't shaking, she was growling, flashing her tiny teeth like she was ready to brawl. The young officer glanced at me. "Your cow, sir?" I nodded. "Yep, that's Daisy. More emotionally stable than half the people I know." The older officer pinched the bridge of his nose and asked Linda if the cow had left my property or physically threatened her. Linda snapped, "It's psychological warfare. That moo was meant to intimidate." I shrugged. Should I get a lawyer or a cow therapist? It could have ended there, just a weird story to laugh about later, but Mrs. Chen across the street had filmed the whole thing: Princess's bark fest, Linda's 911 call, the Schnauzer Simba moment. She sent it to her nephew's TikTok with the caption, "HOA lady calls cops on cow." By nightfall it was viral, thousands of likes, comments, reenactments with plush toys. Someone even remixed Linda's scream into a song. Aggressive mooing trended. I found a Justice for Daisy sticker in my mailbox and slapped it on my shed like a medal. Linda was furious. The next day she marched over with screenshots of the video and an HOA letter claiming I'd humiliated the neighborhood. I reminded her I wasn't in the HOA. She nearly choked on her words. "It still lowers property values," she yelled. "This is slander." "You slandered a cow," I shot back, biting back a grin. Then she pointed at my animals like a prosecutor. "They're a menace. This place reeks of chaos. I'll see you in court." She stormed off, heels clicking like she was starring in a legal drama. But the real twist came when the HOA sent me a letter warning about excessive animal noise. Problem was, my land wasn't under their control. Linda had attached a map with my property highlighted in neon yellow, plus a sticky note: extended HOA zoning, effective immediately. I laughed so hard I spilled my coffee. She tried to redraw boundaries to trap me in HOA hell. That's when I knew this was war not just about mooing, but personal. The letter on my gate was absurd: Lorez HOA logo, cricket text, signed like someone had a vendetta against pens. It claimed Daisy's moo violat, Section 8B, Noise Ordinance Clause 3. I read it 3 times, stunned that someone called a cow's moo an auditory offense. Linda had even drawn a fake map looping my land into her empire, like a kid's art project gone rogue. I fought back with sarcasm and petty flair. I set up a speaker just inside my fence, playing soothing cow sounds at 39 decibels and tick below their fake limit. Daisy loved it, lounging like she was at a spa. Linda didn't. The next morning she showed up with 2 HOA cronies, Steve and Marcy. Steve looked half asleep, wearing socks with sandals. Marcy gripped a clipboard like a shield. Linda wielded a decibel meter, pointing it at Daisy, who blinked in confusion. "I'm conducting a noise evaluation," Linda declared. "These cows emit infrasonic stress harmful to small dogs." I played a recording of Princess barking 76 decibels. "Want me to file a counter-complaint?" I asked. Steve snorted. Linda whispered to Marcy, who scribbled like she was decoding a conspiracy. I called my buddy Mark, a local news guy, and sent him the VY Deo plus the latest HOA nonsense. Hours later, he was at my place with a camera, filming the cows and my new sign. "Warning, cows may moo if provoked." Henrietta stared into the lens like she knew secrets. Linda stood across the street, waving a sign, "Farm noise bang dog trauma." I yelled, "Linda, I didn't start the circus, you brought the clowns." The news clip aired, showing Linda yelling while cradling Princess like a Fallout Survivor 4. Comments online were savage. "Princess owes the cows an apology." Memes spread like wildfire. "Daisy in shades with moo when I want." Then Linda crossed a line. My security camera caught her sneaking onto my property with a spray bottle, dousing Princess in hot sauce, hoping the cows would chase her to prove they were hostile. Instead, Daisy sniffed, nudged Princess gently, and the dog bolted, yanking Linda into the mud-fresh, goat-stirred farm mud. She landed face first, screaming about lawsuits and trained cows. I offered a towel, she swatted it away. The footage went viral, outpacing the first VY Deo. Hashtags like the hot sauce schnauzer trended. A radio host called Daisy the face of suburban rebellion. The HOA turned on Linda. Her stunt broke bylaws on trespassing and condiment misuse. Residents complained about her, not my cows. The board suspended her as president, citing disruptive behavior. She doubled down, filing an animal control complaint about targeted mooing patterns. The officer met Daisy, who licked his badge and left with a smirk. At 3:17 a.m., my camera caught Linda in a bathrobe, flashlight in hand, whispering into her phone about scheduled mooing to destabilize Princess. She started a Facebook group, Victims of Hostile Mooing, with 6 members. 2 were her fake accounts. She bought a Dula 400 noise analyzer, logged moo timestamps, and called my solar lights cow activation signals. I found her, listening to the ground with a stethoscope. "Find anything?" I called. She fled, clutching Princess like a fumbled pass. Then I found her hidden cameras, cheap camcorders taped to trees, aimed at my cows. I turned them over to the sheriff with footage of Linda sneaking around with jerky treats. He called it the first time livestock got lawyered up. Linda held a garage moo crisis meeting, with a judge cutout and a PowerPoint. Weaponized mooing. 5 neighbors came, mostly for laughs. One slide slowed Daisy's moo to sound like a horror soundtrack. A neighbor whispered, "Is this Gregorian chant?" I countered with farm fun day, lemonade, a bounce house, cow petting. Kids wore Team Daisy shirts. Linda stood on the sidewalk with a sign, "Cows can't consent." Princess peed on it. The neighborhood loved it. Daisy bobbed her head for snacks, and a coffee shop sold moo tests with her face. Linda vanished, curtains drawn. Rumors said she'd gone to a retreat or a silent dog tour. Then I found a package for Daisy, a plush cow toy and a note. "I went too far. Princess 2. Don't like you but respect your cow. Sorry to Henrietta. Moo on." No signature, just L. The neighborhood relaxed. Kids fed the animals, Greg's HOA chilled out, and we held a block party in my pasture. Henrietta chased toddlers. Daisy wore a foam crown. Teens sang the aggressive moo remix. A mural went up Daisy atop HOA papers. Princess floating away in a balloon. A producer pitched a reality show, Doku Farm. I laughed, saying Daisy needed a trailer and Henrietta demanded lighting approval. Linda's war failed. She lost her title but made us stronger. Neighbors laughed more, cared more. One evening, Daisy mooed under her tree, tail swishing. "They called you aggressive," I said. "But you started a movement." She farted a final note. I laughed, raising my coffee. Somewhere, Linda might have heard it. Maybe she laughed too. But the last moo was ours, echoing proud.